Hey everyone, welcome to the BetSperts Golf John Deere Classic betting preview. I'm Ryan Noonan, excited to be joined as always by my friends. First, the director of all things betting, content related here at BetSperts, Andy Molitor. Andy, I'm supposed to be on vacation this week.
Were you?
And this is why. So we got the John Deere Classic. This is a very interesting week, but now we have three tournaments to kind of talk about this week if we wanted to. We got a little LIV, we got a little Irish Open. You get the JDC. What's going on, bud?
Yeah, that's I was just saying that before you got into the room. I was saying that to Geoff. I'm like, kind of glad we have Portland too. It takes a sting out of seeing some of these guys near the top of the leaderboard, or near the top of the odds board rather, as far as it's a bad field. But again, there is value, especially for someone like me who likes to bet matchups. Like there's going to be a lot of fun matchups for me to evaluate near the bottom of the board when you have a field like this. So I'll get into that. And yeah, I'll probably, like I said, just before we got on to looking at maybe parlaying a lotto ticket of my winner for the LIV, my winner for the Irish Open, and my winner for John Deere. See how much I can. It's always fun to see the card or see the ticket, like how much you could win, and then watch all three of those guys miss the cut.
I mean, I can acknowledge I find it hard enough to hit one winner in any size field. So my head's not where Andy is. I have made a LIV bet. I'm sure we will talk about it. But yeah, once again, it's kind of a very polarizing situation for all the stupidity that it seems like LIV, for all their money, has done so many things like backwards, like weirdly, from the logo to like just a lot of little things that seem off kilter. Clearly going head to head with John Deere, no coincidence. That was part of the plan. And so it makes for a very just polarizing shit. I just broke a fucking keychain that my daughter made me for Father's Day that I was playing with in my hand that I liked. Oh, shit.
When is Canadian Father's Day? Is it the
Shut up.
Well, you guys have a different Thanksgiving. It's like fucking October. Makes no
sense.
No,
it's not the same as the U.S. Open, just like you, okay?
Okay, fair. So we'll get the keychain fixed. And yeah, what just tell me, like right off the bat. I want to know who'd you bet in the LIV?
We'll go okay. Well, just
hit me hard. I want to know now.
I bet Bryson 16-1. Might sound weird. I don't know. I thought of me like I don't want anybody who just got the check, but try to get into all their heads. Bryson 16-1, just to show he's healthy. Like if he's healthy, he wants to show he's healthy. And you know, clearly Abe Answers had to have meetings with financial advisors because he's so excited about all the great new investments he can make. And you know, Brooks, go get surgery, like go get help. Like, I don't know, rip LIV off, play no events, get all the surgery every time you have a nagging injury, right? Like when you're a PGA Tour player, you don't want to have surgeries. You got to miss things.
Yeah.
Like it's just a whole different dynamic. You have to pay your way in many respects. You've been paid. Your wrist is hurting, get it fixed. Your arm hurts, get it fixed every single time. Every time. That's what I'm expecting from you. So like when it's all over, he can like pretend he was still the smartest guy in the room. Sorry.
Goddamn.
I don't want to go on the tangent, but his comments from February, Ryan, are so damning.
Yeah.
Like they're almost worse than the US Open comments because like Dustin made comments in February that he clearly backtracked on. But all Dustin said was, I'm committed to the PGA Tour. It's been great for me. Like that's essentially what he said. Bryson took the chance in his February comments to make fun of any loser who's going to be tempted enough to go. So whatever. We're over that. I bet Bryson to win. If he sucks, whatever. I'd still like to make another bet. But also, guys, the confusion around if they actually get money for winning is very important to me, and the ability to bet it.
I agree.
If these guys have been prepaid and then their win is just like a sooner, like it's like they get the money sooner than the back end full package, I don't care. I don't care. I was under the impression every week on LIV is East Lake. as in the final of FedEx Cup, where there's this balloon payment that you're all already gotten, and you can still play for position at Eastlake to then get an amazing tournament purse.
Yeah.
If you're telling me every time you win, it just every dollar you make just goes against your guarantee, that's like I don't know, man. I'm not like, I don't know how to bet it then.
It's still
Even
a
the bad
shitload
one
of
how
money,
you bet it.
but the motivation is thrown for a loop. And
well, they've all told us in their own way that money is a motivator here, right? So like,
yeah,
we might not talk about this on the PGA Tour at times, which again, like, let's not pretend that money doesn't motivate all these guys. But in this instance, these guys made a financial decision to jump to the tour. So like, if there is something that is impacting the purse, like, I agree, that's totally different, especially for some of the big dogs at the top.
Yeah, 100%.
Who was it that had that quote? And this was a PGA. This is several years ago. And they asked him, like, do you think you can win a major? And he said no. And he said, well, why even go? He's like, because they pay 20th place pretty good.
Because he was complaining about like the length of PGA Championship US Open courses. Like, I have no chance, but 20th, I can do that. And that pays a fortune or a lot of weeks. But then there's weeks on tour where Kisner, like last week, can plot his way along perfectly and find his way in it. Yeah, it's just a total, and I don't care. You cannot compare it to me to the pitchers, the quarterbacks, the guys have been paid. Their entire mindset in their whole life of how you played the sport, it just totally now rewired. So I have to see how that's impacted. Now, I've bet Bryson 16-1. I'm probably going to make another bet. As I've said, and I think I'll hold myself to this actual strategy, just casual. And it's just like, it's Thursday night football, first touchdowns. I like to bet the tight ends. You know, sometimes I'll bet Kittle at 8, and sometimes I'll bet Hunter Henry at 14, and sometimes I'll bet Parham at 30. Well, I don't think he's going to be 30 anymore, but you feel me. So yeah, I don't see myself doing anything different, but I don't know how to cap it if there's not an extra cent on the line. I do not. Golf is too much like involved for me to want to be betting if that's the case.
I do wonder if I should even be looking at it if that's the case.
No, you have to bet it, Andy. You have to show your grandkids a ticket every event.
Yes, I forget how soon I forget.
You're already forgetting by number 2.
One damn event. We'll get to this. Somebody asked about one and done this week. My God. Yeah, I don't like. Yeah, if you want to just put Webb in and forget about it and don't think about this one at all, I don't blame you, because where else are you going to be like, oh, I really wanted to use Webb at wherever.
Well, yeah, you're not getting burned. I mean, we literally have 0 top 50 players in the world.
Yeah, just burn whoever you think. Like if you want to burn Webb, but like a lot of the guys we're going to talk about outright, I think the reason we got them was we thought they had high upside and possible low downside. Like I looked at a lot of guys like, who's just not going to screw up and have a chance to run hot one day this weekend, because this is a shit show. Talking, now we are off LIV. Now we're on to actual John Deere.
And the shit shows have just begun, guys. I mean,
there's a few of these in a row.
Yeah, this is going to be made. Now that LIV exists, it's going to actually feel worse than that like post-Masters run, because we're going to come out of the Open. We have this, and then there's a subfield against the Open, which whatever, we all are used to those. That is what it is. And then there's Minnesota and Detroit, and no disrespect to any of them, but it's going to be bad. It is going to be bad. And not to like get off topic, but I thought Mayo had just an outstanding, at the same, he's like, he made some great points. At the PGA Tours feels like, Flanders, like they acknowledge there's a problem. They've tried nothing. And like, we don't know what to do. Like, you know what I mean? And I don't know what they're supposed to do, but they better get freaking creative. And I don't know whether it's to all this extra money they have lying around, create some like super series in July for like that Troy Merritt type player, the college superstar, the Corn Ferry. Make this like super, you get exemption, like make some like mini FedEx Cup playoff for a different level of player where there's like maybe exemptions and tour cards available for your like month collab. Make a mixed LPGA event.
Yes.
They got to do something because the jokes and the polarization of these certain fields are going to get that much crazier. And when you consider they've taken from this lower part of the tour, they've taken their season, their swing season away and wanting to give it to the elites. Well, let's turn the dog days of summer into what can maybe be entertaining TV as we like create insane like you're not even allowed to play in them if you're a good player, hypothetically.
And that's going to be interesting too, because they're creating these subsets, as you mentioned, for the elites. And then what happens? Like that doesn't incentivize JT or Scotty to go to Minnesota or Detroit ever. They have their own little like 70-man little vibe over here.
And as Mayo pointed out,
it's been we hadn't had that news since the last time we spoke. Was the stupid thing? Like I can't exactly remember how I phrased this in a chat, but it was like you have these, call them the loyalists, whatever, the Rorys and these guys are not ever. You could write $1 billion, $1.5 billion. There's just not a number that, there's diminishing returns after you get to a certain number anyway. They're already rich and they want to play on the PGA. So it's like they sat down in this fucking room and said, what should we do to fix this? Like, well, let's do the thing that they already said they don't give a shit about, but do it worse.
Yeah, I'm like so embarrassed.
Like what? Who signed up on that? It's
embarrassing.
Like, well, they don't want the money. Well, let's give them the money. Like they don't want the money. Well, let's give them the money, but just not as much. And then let's put it in events. And I guess they're all not. If they were all in the fall, that would have been an absolute dumpster fire. At least they did spread it out a little bit. Like the guys want the fall off. So I don't know what they're trying to do here. Like Geoff said, a mixed event would be awesome. What you described is like the NIT of golf. Instead of just letting the playoff players play that week, that would be awesome. Have an NIT where it's like, yeah, you didn't make the playoffs. We have a golf tournament for you. Guess what? Top 10 guys, they get a 2-year exemption.
It's just a total running score between John Deere through like whatever. They're just playing for something crazy. Like I don't mean like crazy, but I just mean like even tour cards like put out there. And you see a quote. One of the quotes that hit me the most. Because every guy feels different. Some guys just want the money. That kid that won the Corn Ferry, the Cody Garb, it's like some top prospect. Should know his name. They're like, have you been offered LIV? He's like, yeah, they offered me a lot of money. And he said no, because he's like, I would hate every day of my life if I was over there and I was watching my best friends on the PGA Tour. He's like, all my friends, like, these are where my friends are. I want to play with my friends. Like, you never know in a world where LIV takes over, sort of like Xander's been kind of articulate as people want to pick on him. I want to be in the best tournaments in the world. That's the PGA Tour. But I can't say never, because if in 3 years, if LIV has the best, strongest, best tournaments in the world, that's probably where I'm going to be.
That's fair.
In that respect. But to your point, Andy, I try to call balls and strikes on like all of it, despite the overall feeling of sadness and spoiled North American sports fan, which we've been through, to not like make like the PGA Tour embarrass themselves. They're just embarrassing themselves.
I would have liked to see them just do one thing in this whole saga that wasn't the completely wrong move.
Just
I guess
put Matt Coma in front of a goddamn microphone 3 times a week. Literally, make him deputy commissioner. And I swear to God, that's the best thing they can do. He is, I don't know. I don't know how to put it, but he is magical for them. And they don't use him. They don't use him. And forgetting the fact he's actually really good, apparently, which I'm a late bloomer to, unfortunately. But
the funniest thing is like that'd be great. There's a lot of great ideas flying around. You know what they should really just invest in is showing a shitload of golf on TV.
Yeah.
Like, it's we've said this for years and years and years, but like it doesn't matter how bad the John Deere field is, how bad the Detroit field is, how bad the Minneapolis, it's in a suburb, the Minnesota field is. Like, I would watch the shit out of that if you told me I had like really good coverage, and I could watch almost all the shots of all the golf. There are multiple feeds coming in like you get with some of the majors. I would watch any field. Like you can put a shitload of bad golfers in there. You're still going to, the cream of that bad field, like we're going to see this week, is still going to rise to the top. And you're going to have a decent weekend with some, there's still, I don't care if a guy's ranked 80th in the world. He's still a really good golfer compared to me. And I'd love to watch him just tear. And again, these bad fields that are played at Detroit.
I don't think the ratings will be that bad.
No, they're not going to be. I'm just saying, like, that's your fix. Is just show it on TV better. I'd watch the shit out of them. And again, TPC Twin Cities, easy course. Like, that's kind of fun. You have mediocre tour players beating up on an easy course. I'll watch that if you let me. Like, just let me watch it easily. If
I can watch it and bet on it, we're good. We're in.
Yeah. No, and that's a whole struggle. And I guess you gotta hope there's progress there, but I don't know. I don't know how to even comment on that. Other than, the Sanderson Farms is covered better than the US Open in terms of like a TV experience. That'd be like the preseason being better than the Super Bowl. Yeah. They got so many problems on that angle of it. But I just mean, I don't think John Deere TV numbers will be much worse than Travelers, if worse at all. I think it's just sort of the same. My dad's going to sit on his couch at Sunday and know that he goes to CBS. Mm-hmm. He's not looking at the field right now. He doesn't own an app. Now he's going to be like, who the hell is this guy?
Right.
But he also is like watching enough golf to know, like, if he's never even heard of a guy, this is really important. Like, it takes 1 minute of watching to see how important it is to that guy at that moment. So let me ask you this question, because I want to be holier than thou. In my head, I'm trying and thinking I can be. But forgetting bets, which is hard. It's Bet Spurt's golf show. And we all want to tell ourselves that just trying to think. That Sahith's at the top of my head. Seeing Sahith and John battle it out for a first tour win or what everything comes to that will be more captivating to me than anything on LIV. But I don't know if Bryson and Reed are competing in the land of a tournament. I can't sit here and I wouldn't swear on my kid's life that Sahith versus John like as I want holistically to think will matter more to me. That I don't know.
Yeah, somebody with a big name has to compete in Portland to make it captivating. Like, no one gives a shit about Schwartzel running away with a tournament with a weird field.
No, but if it's Brooks and Bryson,
if it's
like Reed versus Bryce, Reed versus Brooke, like, I don't know, the bad guys on the Saudi tour battling for, I don't know. Like, I'm just saying,
give them bandanas and stuff.
I think Geoff's made the analogy. It does have an NWO vibe. There is.
I've had the holistic vibe that I even tweeted that LIV feels like the movie New Year's Day, Valentine's Day. It's just this very expensive ensemble cast, no story, no plot. I don't give a fuck. Give me that indie movie that's like compelling and great, which is essentially Sahith versus like. But I don't know if in the end LIV is giving me something. I'm just saying I don't know. But holistically, I want to believe the other because
somebody and there is storyline. Like you said, I like the Sahith versus You give me some younger.
Well, those are guys I'm betting on, and they came to my head, but
I didn't bet on either.
Replace Sahith with McCarthy. Replace someone with McNeely or you know what I mean. You could pick any of Sam Ryder, throw anyone.
No one in this field, Geoff, has qualified in any way, shape, or form, nor are they in position to go play at the Masters. Like, somebody is punching a Masters ticket Sunday.
Yeah, well,
granted, somebody could rip out a really nice fall and spring and end up in the top 50 or one of the other qualification ways. But like, somebody's punching a Masters ticket. It means a lot to the guys.
Everything.
It's still only an $8 million purse, but the winner is going to get one of their bigger paydays.
Winner the FedEx
if
Cup
it's Zach
points,
Johnson,
it's the exemptions, the FedEx Cup points. It's way bigger. Then listen, when you're going for your first win, I'm sure that's like my first win. But a lot of these guys, like, their head spins. They think about that Masters invite. They're thinking about the exemptions. The concept of being there thinking, I can set my effing schedule next year. Me and my wife, and we can plan a vacation because I don't need to be in Valero to ride the water slide.
I'm
Like
going to the
forced to
fucking
go.
Barracuda.
No, but I can pick my spots. Like, do you know how life-changing that is for those guys?
That's huge.
Yeah. So like when they get in that position, I've got my multi-year exemption. I can now just make a schedule for me and my family. Doesn't mean I'm not going to play a lot, but I can make my schedule. It's like the dream for them.
Yeah.
I don't. I've made bets. The winner this week's going to probably pay more than the majors we drool over and the big, events we drool over. So there's always an opportunity. And we'll see. And if there's guys on LIV that aren't on like multi-year contracts, they're just on like an appearance, not an appearance thing, but like a very short, they're invited to play and they play. Like, I don't know. How do you not look to that range? Like the desperation of, I don't know. I don't know, but I don't know who they are and I don't know who the layout is either. So
yeah, very little detail on some of that stuff, which is annoying. So I'm probably a good portion of my golf bankroll will be stuck with Jay's dumb tour this year or this week as well. But I made 8 outrights already, Geoff. I just said I'm cutting down so I've outlaid less money than I normally would on a week at this point. I just made them all smaller and I said, I'm going to just spray from like 30 to 150 on like guys I think whose number is just slightly off according to my prices.
Losers that we like to bet on.
Well, that's the thing. These events get so you're probably not done because these events in theory they can be cheaper. They can be cheaper. I can build it bigger. My card starts at 40. Like when I start a card at 40, do you know how much money I have to put on a board? Like people that know me can realize that, but like when my card doesn't start till 40, anything I want is possible. The problem is you get to these events and anyone you've ever had this intrinsic belief in that they're good, you're like, well, I've vouched for this guy. Like this is the event I have to bet you because I believe in you and I vouch for you. So you find yourself like betting guys that you talked up 2 years ago that you told people you believe in.
100%. I could not say it better. Like this is like a your guy week at this point. Like if they're in the field, ideally they're a little bit down the board. Like
if he's your guy and you don't bet him this week, you should probably never bet him. He must really freaking suck like a lot.
I would have hammered Aaron Wise at 6-1 in this event. I mean, just hammered, but he's not even here. So
well, that is different. But yeah, Aaron Wise is now above it. And Andy, I mean it. You can make fun of this field. I swear 3-4 years ago, it was not this bad. This event used to literally send a charter plane to send the guys to the Open Championship. They'd want guys to play in it. Like there'd be enough players that have qualified for a major that John Deere would literally pay to fly them to the major on Sunday night, where you would see good players miss the cut doing TV interviews from the range Saturday and Sunday because they're not leaving town. They just want the free plane ride. So they're waiting around. This is now all they have to do is buy a first class ticket for the guy that wins.
Yeah. The Scottish being wedged in between and being an official PGA event definitely kind of cucked the folks over in Quad Cities. So,
yeah. Well, and some of the guys who maybe want to get over there early, whether it's just to sightsee, take a week off, or go play Ireland. If you wanted to, you could go play Ireland, Scotland, and then the Open. Like,
it's got a lot of options. Well, yeah, Billy was already in Germany, but he said, "Yeah, I'm going over. I'm playing like rounds of friends at like some great courses.
Yeah,
and then I'll head over to. So, I'm sure a lot of them take that opportunity to do that.
Yeah, and there's that big pro-am next Monday where like everyone in the world is already over there, and there's so many different things that have kind of.
This JP McManus must be an important person.
Yeah, who is JP McManus? It's got 2 pockets, maybe.
I assume he's from the world of investments and banking, Ryan.
Yeah, sounds like it.
JP McManus.
So we've been few weeks in a row where we've had like these co-favorites. And obviously at the big tournament a few weeks ago, there was a handful at the top, and Canada, we had a few at the top, and last few, even Travelers. It's like our top of the board right now it just burns the eyes. Like it's Geoff always says I go from like 30 to 70 anyway. But man, like your eyes are just drawn away from that right away. Because you always sit and think like, I could bet Rory if he got down to 16, or some of these guys, maybe I look at them live, but man, the top of the board sucks. Like at a high variance event like this, just there's no chance. Like I felt bad betting some guys in the 30s. I said, I don't even know I should be doing this.
I can acknowledge that because I've made plays through the four. Well, some of the odds have dropped, but the guys that I have bet on, I would respect your argument if you told me the guys 20, 30 points higher have literally the same win probability or whatever you want to call equity. I know we misuse the term a lot. We're all guilty of it, as I've been told. But yes, like I couldn't deny any part of that. But yeah, I was betting the guys. But this tournament, I don't know, hopefully it's an opportunity. I will say off the top, I won't be able to take advantage because I'm going to head up north this weekend. But I think it's a great live event, Andy, because you watch those live lines weekly. Those guys are watching. They're hawking like 6 or 8 players, the house. They hit it to 8 feet, moves. This whole field is filled with guys who make 4 birdies and sometimes in a row, and the books don't notice. You are going on Friday night, Saturday morning, as things are starting or finishing, going to catch some amazingly stale lines on a player you respect, but the books don't even have a freaking clue who he is, and it's just stale. These horrible events always present those opportunities. So if you're around doing nothing this weekend, I'm telling you, you will catch a great stale number because the books don't know who to respect. They don't know. They don't care. I don't want to say they don't care. They truly don't know. Like the bad books will be worse and the good books will be ones that move fast will not be as good. I promise you.
Well, yeah. And like we talked about, when you have people with major wins and huge, win equity in their lifetime, and they haven't teed off yet Thursday, they're not going to go from 12-1 to 20-1 just because somebody else went out to a lead. They haven't got even if they haven't gotten to their second round or something along those lines. They teed off Thursday morning, and they're well behind, but they have 18 to play on Friday. They're just not going to move. Whereas some of these guys who have like 1% to 2% win probability in the markets, like Geoff said, they don't know what to do with them. So you might catch some messages. So they don't have internet up in Saskatoon or what?
No, we're just not that I don't have internet. I'm just not gonna
watch golf.
Might not. Yeah, it's just Canada Day long weekend. I'm going up wherever, whatever you call it in your neck of the woods, cottage, country house, lake house. I don't know. Everyone calls it something different, apparently. So yeah, I might not be able it will be a bad scene. It'll be raining for me to be like hawking the board at that point. Now maybe I can catch something and always get lucky. I've hit a live bet on the toilet before that ended up winning on Sunday. Like timing is everything in the world when you pull your phone out and check. But I'm just saying, just keep an eye for that. I think there'll be really good opportunities in events like this. We see it all the time.
That's kind of how I budget it right now. I was going to go the Andy way. I wasn't sure what to do. Could I sprinkle maybe less aggressively on more than normal, or save some bullets if a good number pops? Like you said, a guy that I kind of have highlighted and I'm looking at, and maybe we get a good one and we take him live. So right now I only have 3, so I usually have more outrights than that when we come to this table here. But it's again, you got to bet your guy. If you bet any of these dudes at any point in the last 2 years to win, I mean, I bet Patrick Rodgers a couple weeks ago in Canada at 200 to 1. So yeah, I got to pay 35 or 40, whatever you had to get on Patrick Rodgers, because I liked him in Canada, and he goes out and plays pretty well and does it again at the US Open. So like that makes a lot of sense. I've bet Cam Davis so much in the last 3 years. There's no chance in hell I can't take Cam Davis at this spot at 50 against these jabronis. So
We're 2 for 2 so far, right?
Full jabronis. Yeah, I love Patrick. Patrick Rodgers is he's the
Bet Patrick Rodgers. Part of my my self-justification was I bet him here like 4 years ago where I thought he was going to beat Bryson and go to the Open. Yeah, he seems to be trending. I'm on Rodgers. I like you. I'm on Cam Davis. Yeah, I've actually bet them both in real time when Berger withdrew because I was thinking about them.
Nice.
I thought I wanted to bet them. And this new, books like FanDuel 365, DraftKings, they let you cash out. So I can take my position. Like once Berger withdraws, I know I'm going to take this position and I'm guaranteed a full cash out because these numbers are about to drop. Like there was a no lose play. And as the day I'm full, I'm like, I like these bets. So Cam Smith and Rodgers. For me, my third, well, who's your third?
Nick Hardy.
I like that too.
We're just running hot on the putter.
Don't hate that.
Don't hate it at all.
It's not gonna last forever, but nice little run in the Corn Ferry, and then he's been impressive. I mean, 14th at the Open, 8th last week at Travelers. It's kind of like gaining throughout the bag too, which is surprising. So a little, and then I mean, you'll hear that he's a local kid. He's from Northbrook, which is like 30 minutes north of Chicago. This is on the complete other side of the state. He did go to U of I though, so he's an Illinois guy. So
I
it's
like
royal in the sense that Midwesterners just have had success here,
yes.
I guess,
but to
right?
your point, like if Nick Hardy is in the mix, this is like a 26-year-old kid that's been like oscillating between Corn Ferry and the PGA Tour. Like this means a lot to Nick Hardy. He's not thinking two shits about Europe or the Irish or the LIV.
All these guys.
Hard. This is like, so if you want to buy into some of those narratives, the local boy.
So I like that bet a lot, and I kind of wish I made it because the number got short. What I did instead though was when Berger withdrew, I bet the Sahith 40 that DraftKings had out yesterday morning. Now I do not love it, and closing line value is telling me to love it. But I bet it, and I'm like, this number just seems fair for the field, and Berger just withdrew. So I did bet it, and I don't see myself cashing it out. But I heard him, and I made the point, like, I don't know, everyone was down on Mito after the thing, and he had a really strong next week. So I don't want to, hate on it. But Mito, by all his friends and family, is a goldfish. He can just change.
It's important.
That's his thing. So someone was posting around a clip from XM PGA radio yesterday. I haven't stopped thinking about 18. Now it's still Monday and hopefully, but you make a birdie early and it's, so I just beg, be a goldfish, Sahith, stay hungry. Look at this as an opportunity. All these guys, Nick Hardy, the opportunity that this week presents when you just got to go Webb Simpson, just take advantage of the opportunity. I'm hoping by Thursday, we're all sad. The Chargers lost. I'm sad on Monday, but Thursday I'm ready to go for the next one. So that's all. I truly don't feel great about it though, Ryan. 40
is a good number though. It's that number.
Yeah, it felt fair and right. I literally I think Mayo even clipped me saying it. This feels fair. This feels right. Please just be hungry. But I actually might like Nick Hardy more. But whatever. That's me.
And to Ryan's point about doing it the Andy way or doing it the save some bullets, I kind of did both. So I normally bet 2.5 to 3 units worth of outright bets, relative to my every single matchup is a full unit play. So relative to that, that's and when I look at how I bet during the week, I consider myself a loser before the tournament starts. So if I bet 3 units worth of outrights, I consider myself down 3 units before, I just figure they're all going to lose because normally they will. So I gotta win that back on matchups and pray. And when they come through, it's awful nice when it does. So this week, 8 all at a quarter unit. So I'm only 2 in if my math checks out there. So I'm betting less than I normally would on outright. So technically I told myself I'm doing that on purpose, but in the back of my brain, my broken gambling brain, I also say, well, sometimes I'll bet 3 units worth of outright. So I have a full unit of money worth to kind of play with here. So there's like a non-zero chance that one of
Do
these
both.
guys, if I end up watching quite a bit on Thursday, Friday afternoon, and somebody piques my interest, I'm not saying I won't have a live ad. So I rarely do live ads. It usually has to be something glaring or somebody really puts me onto something and I like it. So there's a decent chance, but other than that, it is my guy. It's like, not to jump to the long shots, but I've bet Armour quite a few times. Like, he's a CT Pond and Ryan Armour. Like, those are Andy guys that have gotten a lot of money from me over the just general outrights, matchups, top 40 kind of stuff. Those are guys that always pop. So you can't avoid your traps. You got to pay the tax on your guys.
Yeah, that's the two guys that I was considering that I bet often lately. I bet Adam Svensson last week at 280. He got me a top 20. And now he's like 50-1.
I bet him at 66.
So okay, that's good. I like the confirmation bias. So
I bet John Hunt 66.
Those are good numbers. Yeah.
I don't know. They're just, I don't know, man. It's a card full of duds, and hopefully when I turn it on, something will be working for me. But like Andy, I don't know. I'm not expecting much, but there's a lot of guys that I deep dived, and yeah, you could say anyone in this like 60-55 range, you can make the win equity, win probability case versus the guys we have bet in that 30-40 range, even as high as into the 80s. So yeah, you bet. This is the week you bet your losers, and you don't make fun of anyone else's losers. Truly, like, that's all. And then forgetting that people, I'm the type of guy, right? Do you know how Xander and Fitzpatrick both showed up on my cards, like in multiple events, at least the one event before they won. For Fitzpatrick, it was multiple events. Xander, I got off for a bit, and then I got back on, and then he fucking wins. Whatever.
I gave Xander a long look last week too. It
was so fair.
Yeah.
The 22s on both. Oh, it was such a fair now. And Bodog was still hanging that 22 like as late as Wednesday. They didn't adjust with the JT nothing. Not to say you could overreact to withdrawals. I don't know. JT, like, whatever. I don't know. So I'm just trying to stay positive.
Yeah. And to be fair, I said, like, I won't bet Xander. Not at that price. So God bless me for that one.
I didn't think the price was unfair. But I didn't bet him.
Yeah, I don't tend to bet him. The last time I've won money on Xander was.
Oh, I could have won it all back. I could have won it all back.
I think, the last time I won money on Xander was actually me essentially betting on Colin Morikawa by taking a United States player wins the gold medal prop. And Xander catching it for me in some sort of weird backward scenario. And again, to Ryan's point, pointing out that, like, the guy from north of Chicago not being local, like, this tournament is in Iowa, you guys.
Like, it is.
It's not, but like,
it's Davenport, Iowa, basically.
It's in
whatever.
Iowa.
They call guys from Vancouver local at the Canadian Open in Toronto.
Yeah, right? So they tell you some guy from like the southern tip of Illinois or Chicago is local. It's not. The Monday qualifier was played in the state of Iowa. That's how Iowegian this is. It's absolutely not. It's like, Ryan, the LIV event that's coming to Chicago in September, like, how close is that to City Center? An hour?
Oh, no, like, an hour and 20. Yeah. It's like it's like Southwest. Yeah.
It doesn't matter which tour you're looking at. Geography is real ambiguous when it comes to a lot of this stuff. So it is out in the middle. I just looked. I could be here in like 4 hours by car. I'm actually tempted to.
2.5 for me. My daughter went to Augustana, so I used to make those trips. I've driven past this course a lot of times. So I went to actually try to find Grayson Murray. I saw he was in the field, and I was going to let him know that he's in a college town this week. But I know those girls are a little old for him. But I thought he might have some, maybe some incoming freshmen taking tours that might tickle his fancy. But apparently he's not on Twitter anymore. So sorry, Grayson. Yeah, but you got the other guys. You got Steve Stricker, who, owned this event forever. And, Kevin Streelman, who's also from the Chicago suburbs, who is a local guy, but this is what we're dealing with this week. I don't know.
And Midwest golfers, there's a
But
point to it, like playing this style of course.
Sure.
Like
I'll tell you a way
same.
that I have helped myself cut down the list or create maybe an easier path to the bets. I am 100%, like 100 out of 100 times. I say this a lot, but I'm betting on unknown ceilings over proving commodity in an event like this. I'll take all my swings on players that I believe have a ceiling versus anyone else, from Armour, no offense, Armour, Streelman, go higher, like even to see like Buckley at 150, all the like Dylan Woo's at 150, like there's Vaughn Taylor's at 150. I will take my swing on the unknown ceiling I believe you could have versus what I know you have, and you needing to literally have an eclipse moment like Streelman's win at the Travelers X amount of years ago. Like you need to just go blank, like blackout hot. I don't know. I want to bet. I bet ceilings that even if I don't know how real they are, then proving commodities, but I know what they're capable of. At least I think I do. All of them. I don't mean all of them. I mean all my bets are sort of on that thought process.
No, that makes sense too. It's just more of a fun week
putting
to probably
contest
approach it.
too.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah.
If you start looking at guys who's like, I think he has a high ceiling. Maybe I don't give a shit where his floor is. He's been good at certain things this year. And then if you look back through some of the stuff, and like Ryan Armour last year if you took away the fucking tractors and just changed the banners and plopped me down blindfolded on Deer Run, you could convince me it's TPC Twin Cities or River Highlands. They're all the same, man. All these northern TPC courses, you change the banners, you could absolutely trick me. But like, yeah, are we at Deer Run? I don't know. So like Ryan Armour played very well at, again, a similar-ish course at the 3M. And it wasn't just he played well, it was he putted his tits off, like 6.4 gain on the putting greens. Like people like this who are over 100 to 1 who meet some criteria for me, I got to go back and see that they
I agree.
Stupid hot putting. Like the Palmetto, he gained a bunch. He has these weird putting pops. Even last week, he gained a bunch of the Travelers putting. Like, because that's what these guys need to do. They need to play well with the rest of their game, but they also have to have one of those like, oh, I just putted like way above expectation this week. And some of these guys who are just kind of steady Eddie putters don't have weeks like that. I'm less inclined to take them even at 100, 150 to 1. You got to show me that you can pop off and just start draining everything, go blindfolded on the dance floor and start killing it. So
because of the high variance nature of putting too, and because we talk about it in the aspect of the tour and how we will like match play and we like the team events, we like things to kind of mix it up. I'm just considering doing that personally for myself this week because I feel we're in this mundane. I bet golf the same way every week, and maybe this week I'm thinking about just kind of bypassing finishing position bets, just maybe risking taking an L for the week, and just every bet is just sprinkles of outrights. And not really messing with T20s and T30s and T40s because a guy can play pretty well and run cold with the putter. And I'd rather just have those outrights week. So just for my own mental health, mix it up and make it a team event in my mind. And it's just this week, it's a little different than normal. We're going to play the John Deere a little bit differently. You weren't expecting to play the John Deere anyway, expecting to be on the beach. And now you're going to play and sit here with these two bozos and talk about the John Deere. And you didn't think you were going to have to. So let's mix it up. That's what we're going to do.
And I don't like, I'm a more believer to play your losers than I am to play the ceiling young guy. Like, if I have to rank my vibes on the event, even though I said I will play the ceiling over that journeyman that I feel like I know, number one rule this week is play your losers. So I have nothing against if one of your losers is the journeyman. I'm just saying, if I have to make a decision on a player like this one, like I know this one, I like 99 of 100 times, my balance of power always leans to betting the unknown ceiling guy.
Makes sense. All right. Any Irish Open bets? Anyone looked at that field or throwing anything down. It's the other one on the card this week that actually has a significantly better field than what we're talking about here. Some actually world-class players at the top. Again, not a lot of the big names in it, but, Lowry, Seamus Power, Thomas Peters coming off of a nice little run on Sunday against Haotong. That was very interesting. Hatton, Fox, Aaron Rye, a lot of guys we've bet on at times. Anyone looking at the Irish Open?
I've not made a bet yet, but I could be tempted to. Arnis at 40. Bobby Mack at 45 on DraftKings.
Read my mind.
Mayo kind of, gave me the case on Moronk at 35, but yeah, I have yet to make any bet on this event.
Bobby Mack, I like him a lot better in Europe than playing him anywhere here. In fact, I usually fade him when he's on this side of the pond. So if there's a 40, I'm looking at it. There is right now in the one spot I'm looking.
Yeah,
Detry,
61 on Pinnacle.
Troy Merritt, there's a guy I won't bet.
Bobby's 60 on Pinnacle.
Yep.
Other Molinari, John Catlin, 66.
Unless
I don't know. I'd have to look at a few stats, but yeah, certainly not betting Shane Lowry at 8-1. And Seamus Power, as much as I love him and I've bet him and I've won money with him, 12-1 is a bit heavy, especially with there are decent players in the field. I wish Aaron Rye were 30. What's the best price you have on Rye? If there's 30, a 30
Pinnacle.
Yep. Okay.
28 at BetMGM.
Lara Thobel, I believe, played the London event and now is not in Portland. He's back on the DP. Apparently, he can just bounce back and forth, which is fine.
Well, on that note, Andy,
I think he got kicked because they brought in some more big guns.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. On that, at 2 p.m. today, though, we have two worlds of colliding press conferences. We have a PGA Euro Tour with Jay and Keith, and apparently at the same time, LIV is doing introductions with some of their new guys. So the irony that they're going on at the exact same time is pretty weird, but I'm going to make sure I watch both of them in full, and I'll probably have opinions. Hopefully Brooks Koepka doesn't answer questions like a bitch.
I can't promise that. It feels like his MO at this point.
He's probably still going to wonder why people care, why they're asking. Honestly.
It's just, you just kind of bringing a dark cloud to the whole thing, Geoff.
When you get out microphoned by Bryson, you're allowed to be made fun of. I'm not making the rule. These are his rules. I'm playing by Brooks's rules. I didn't make the rule.
No, we'll definitely have to watch those pressers as there's been a little bit of weirdness with the DP finding the guys, and then Uncle Greggy saying he'll pick up the tab anyway, which is kind of if there was ever an MO, be like, oh, money, we don't give a shit. That's fine. Oh, hey, here. We found this in our couch cushions. We'll pay those fines. Not a big deal, guys. We've got this. And truthfully, if that's the case, if you're the DP, I'd push that and be like, this might be a nice way to fundraise to manage. We need to fire our sales team, not worry about sponsors so much, and just keep finding players and let the Saudis fund our tour secondhand too. But yeah, I'm looking forward to those, seeing what's up their sleeve. And then what is the event for Pumpkin Patch Ridge or whatever? Is it Thursday, Friday, Saturday again? Or are they going head to head on Sunday?
Honestly, I think people are confused on that too and can't get a straight answer. So weird. They have two different.
I love the ambiguity.
There's two different dates on their on official LIV pages.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I'm not even going to get into Team Fireball changing their logo already.
You know what? See, it's something like that I actually don't make fun of, and will say, you know what? I'll give you credit. You realize something stupid and sucks, you're gonna change it. You're not
it makes me hopeful, Geoff. Like I said, it makes me hopeful for the leaderboard. If they're willing to change one of the shitty team logos, they're willing to fix the leaderboard with the awful. Like, what is it going to be? Actually, if it's just BDC, I would understand that one.
That's the other. I mean, LIV is out here. They need to, even if it is a web show, they need to have a better broadcast, because right now, in this moment in time, the broadcast is not very good. I don't care what people say. These special features that they're telling me they have, they don't have. They don't, and nothing feels special about it, and the players are playing for nothing. So at this current moment in time, LIV still technically, you could argue, offers very little. They have to give me they have to give me television aspects the PGA isn't, or broadcast aspects the PGA isn't, and they need to be playing for something. And until they have that, it's just pros versus Joes and like a fart in the wind.
I like the coverage. I like that there's no commercials. I didn't even care if I didn't know some of the guys, and I didn't know a bunch of the guys. I'm like, they're just showing constant golf, and there's like no fluff pieces. Like, you're going to see a bunch of that again. And the coverage sucks again this week for John Deere. Like, essentially, you can't watch the morning rounds Thursday, Friday. It's very, very difficult to catch any of that. So it does.
Yeah, you wonder even what their featured groups are going to be.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, like those will, I'm sure those will bring out some meme tweets. But, and I'm not, everyone's like,
Webb had when are we, and also, when is Canada Day, Geoff? Friday?
July 1st.
Friday.
Yeah. Is that Friday?
For the brand.
Yeah.
Would you consider live betting Hadwin on Canada Day?
No, because I've bet on Svensson, so I did it.
Oh, you already got your.
I did it already. And, sorry to just keep wandering back to this LIV thing. To like the PGA hardos.
No, you're not.
It's so embarrassing. No, I'm going to defend LIV now. Watch.
I know you go both ways. I like
and
that.
I'm going to compliment Brooks. Watch. The people that that are undervaluing the loss of Bryson and Brooks, to me, are insane persons. Those are tectonic shifts, in my opinion. To underplay those is no big deal. You're part of the problem. You don't call balls and strikes fairly. Bryson DeChambeau, when healthy, has a skill set that makes you number one in the world. That few people have the package. When he's healthy, he has the game that can be number one in the world. When Brooks Koepka is healthy, don't believe he offers the consistency to do something like that. But when Brooks Koepka is healthy, there is not a more feared player on tour when he's on a leaderboard in a big event. Well, and those two that's nothing to scoff at. How do people scoff at those players leaving? Is no big deal.
The casuals, like, remember when Bryson hit it over the damn lake, cut the corner? Like, that was a big moment for golf coverage, because all the casuals got to get excited about an event they wouldn't even watch. Shit like that, what he's doing with his, bulking up and being a weirdo, like, that's been a fun storyline. And yeah, the Brooks thing, it does feel like people are just talking out of both sides of their mouth, because for 6 fucking months now, every time Brooks appears on a leaderboard or an odds board, you get the tweets right away. Be like, man, this guy's like a multiple major champion. He's like, this is, you see the word disrespect used a lot.
Otto Brooks.
Like, Otto Brooks. And like, it's disrespectful that he's 40-1. And then the same people, like 2 weeks later, like, this is no big loss. Like, fuck him. Like,
no.
What are we doing?
I make fun of Brooks because even when he was at his great, I don't believe he ever believed the crazy things he was saying, and that's part of his shtick. But now when he speaks, you could play Curb Your Enthusiasm music. Like, that's where it is.
Yeah.
And just read the February quote. Like, just read any transcript you want and play the music in the background. That's like, so it's sad in some way because he was billed as different. He was billed as a guy. The guys he's playing against, they couldn't even they don't even deserve to be in his locker room. They don't even deserve to share a locker room. Well, now it's playing behind my words, which are probably fitting as well, I guess. But
Gotta have it.
yeah. And I don't know. I would be, yeah. But even as a guy that but Brooks has his role on tour, and it's important, and that is gone is a big deal. Even as someone that's not the biggest fan of him, can acknowledge how big of a loss that is. And it's so bothersome to see people scoff, thinking that it's not a big loss because it's not like Scheffler, Rahm. You know what I mean? Like one of these golden six that people would consider.
I'll raise you a Matt Wolff, which I know is weird because he's
saying people downplaying that too.
He's
Ryan,
23 years old, and he was awesome with the pedigree and contended at majors and won events. And he's been off for a year. And a 23-year-old kid maybe went a little wonky in between the ears for a little bit. He's an
big. People downplaying that rude. Not fair. Not fair to downplay that. So short-sighted.
Agreed.
The biggest story in golf this week could be, and this will never happen, but this is where my brain went because it's weird. But what if Matt Wolff starts playing in Portland and he just doesn't do the hip trigger thing, just stops doing it completely? And then when he's asked about it, pretends like he has no idea what people are talking about. That's I don't know why I thought of that, but I'm like, that would be the funniest fucking gag if it was just a long con and he just stopped doing it completely. But I don't know. What are you guys talking about? I got to watch him up close at my shitty 3M. It is weird. See, even standing next to him and watching him do that is bizarre. And I have enough trouble golfing. I can't imagine trying to do that.
Yeah,
I should go out and try that tomorrow. I'm gonna try.
It's so steep too. Well, whatever. I mean,
it's hard. He's full on. It's a full on penetration move.
Yeah.
I listen. The Wolf jokes are easy, and I made a couple, but I don't and just low hanging fruit. What happens if you're having one of those days on a LIV event? You allowed to just leave? I don't know. What if you're supposed to be at Buddy's grandson's birthday on one of those days? I don't know. You don't sort of have what's their, I don't even know if they consider mental health as a thing. I don't know.
One would think not, to be honest.
That being said, it's 54 holes. It's no cut. If you're sad that day, I take that back. That was if you're because I believe it's a real thing. We
weren't diminishing it.
If you're having an actual episode, for lack of a better term, you just finish last place, you still get $100,000. Who cares, right? That's what they'll tell you to do. Go play, finish last, get $100,000.
Looks like it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday with a Thursday 1:15, which I'm guessing maybe is West Coast time. I don't know. 1:15 shotgun start on Thursday. So opening ceremonies 10 a.m. Who knows what that means? But shotgun start 1:15 Thursday.
I hope they light a torch. Just start stealing stuff from other places. So, all right. I didn't mention a bunch of mine, but yeah, Bez, Rodgers, Glover, Pan, Pendrith, Lipsky, Schwab, and Armour.
A lot of them, Lipsky, Bez, Pendrith. A few of them could add. Bet365
Pendrith is Canadian, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I wish this was a Bombers course. I'd have been on Pendrith for sure.
Bet365 has a Bez boost to 50, Andy.
Ooh, I know some people in Jersey.
I'm going to just see if it's still up, but it was up this morning. I know.
Either that or I should cash out my bet because it's dead now because it has a boost.
It's 50 on Bet365 from 33. So nice offering. That's for sure.
Take it.
And they've boosted Sahith from 22 to 28. So even on a boost, he's still way shorter than those gate 40s yesterday.
Yeah. I think that's a good number. I get what your point was there, but the 40 is nice.
It just seems so fair. And literally, as I'm watching the end of the Travelers, I think we're all I think Sahith's going to be 22 to 1 tomorrow morning. So the 40 even to begin with was way higher than what I thought they would have posted. Anyone would have posted. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just betting a bunch of guys that I lose money on before. Maybe there's a chance.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. So I'm just hoping I can make at least 2.1 units in matchup bets to cover me, and then I end up slightly up for the week. I just want to make it through the week if I end up placing some Irish Open stuff, it'll be small. Put it in the Discord. But so far, it's been nothing but outrights for me, and I guess. Yeah, matchup. And definitely. I'll put a link in the show notes here too. But if you don't already, and you're not a subscriber, at least follow the newsletter. I think the free plays I've put in there have been like 4 straight weeks of nice, easy winners.
Been killing it.
Last week was bizarre for I did 5 matchup bets, went 3-2, and I think the closest one was a 9-stroke spread. Like they were all 8, 9, 10, 11 holes or strokes different on like Friday afternoon. It just got, I bet the most lopsided shit possible. And 2 of them were really bad. Like I bet against Cam Davis. Did not go well for me. It was the Hoagie over Davis. Hoagie went one way, Davis went the other, and the rest is history. So I'll have some more stuff out in the Discord with that.
I have a bet. Minus 3,000 Feinberg is going to be triggered after watching multiple press conferences at 2:00.
At G Feinberg 17 on Twitter for the live reactions to those. Can't beat those.
No, I don't want to. I just
afternoon gummies sometimes.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. All right. I don't know.
All right, fellas, good stuff. We talked about 3 events. It's more than most shows. So, can't beat that. Anything else on the site that we want to promote? Any other free Discord channels? There's some free articles on the site. DFS show this afternoon.
Ron's been kind of killing it with birdies or better matchups on Prize Picks.
Yes.
And if you want to join the Discord, again, some parts of it are behind the paywall. There's 5 or 6 free channels just open for discussion or questions. And one of them is the Prize Picks channel. Ron drops the model in there every night. He drops his free plays in there. And that guy's for sure up a bunch over the past few weeks here, hitting some decent sized birdie or better matchups. So check that out if you want to. Over at 4for4 Discord, those are also played as well as any other ones in other sports. People are putting baseball Prize Picks up for free as well. So check those out. If you have any questions, you can just DM us. Follow at BetSpurtsGolf on Twitter and DM us if you have any questions on how to find that way if you can't figure out what show notes are.
Sounds good. DFS show in a couple hours this afternoon. If you are watching on YouTube, we will be back at 3 Eastern, and then also available in podcast form as well. So for Geoff and Andy, I'm Ryan. Good luck this week.